I didn't think we were in trouble. That's the part that still surprises me. There was no crisis, no betrayal, no dramatic shift I could point to and say, that's when it started. Life just kept moving, and we moved with it, separately. We'd been together almost 7 years, long enough to stop explaining things to each other, long enough to assume understanding instead of checking for it. I thought that was stability. She called it distance. Her name was Claire. She noticed things early. I noticed them eventually. That difference mattered more than I understood at the time. We lived in a small house outside the city. Nothing special. Quiet street. Neighbors who waved but never stopped to talk. I liked that. Claire used to. We talked about everything. Big dreams, small fears, the kind of conversations that stretch late into the night. Somewhere along the way, those talks turned into updates. Schedules, plans, logistics, efficient, empty. I worked long hours, not because anyone forced me to, but because work rewarded effort in ways relationships don't always announce. Results were visible there. At home, things faded quietly. Claire started asking questions that didn't sound like questions. Are you happy? Do you still want this? Where do you see us in a few years? I answered honestly. I just didn't answer deeply. Of course I'm happy, I'd say. Of course I want this. I meant it. I just didn't realize this had changed. She'd sit across from me at the table sometimes, watching, not accusing, not angry, just observing. Like she was collecting evidence for a conclusion she didn't want to reach. One night, she said, I feel like I'm living next to you, not with you. I laughed it off, not cruelly, uncomfortably. That's not true, I said. She didn't argue. That should have worried me. Silence became our default response to discomfort. Mine was avoidance. Hers was withdrawal. Neither of us named it. Weeks passed, then months. The house stayed clean. Dinner still happened, but intimacy turned optional. Something we'd get back to, eventually. I told myself every relationship settles, that passion cools, that this was normal. I didn't ask whose normal I was accepting. One evening, I came home later than usual. Claire was sitting on the couch, lights off. She didn't turn her head when I entered. I need to tell you something, she said. Her voice was calm, too calm. I sat down slowly, prepared for logistics, prepared for compromise, prepared for effort. What I wasn't prepared for was clarity. I don't feel chosen anymore, she said. Not loved, chosen. That word stayed with me. I started explaining. Work, stress, timing, all the usual defenses. She listened politely, like someone already past the need to be convinced. I know you care, she said, but I don't feel like a priority. I feel like a background process. I wanted to fix it. I really did. I just didn't know how to slow down enough to mean it. I just need more time, I said. She closed her eyes. That was the moment I missed. The moment that changed everything. I've been giving you time, she replied, for years. We sat there in the dark, no shouting, no tears, just two people realizing they were standing on different sides of the same truth. I don't want to leave, she said, but I can't keep shrinking to fit your pace. That sentence landed quietly, heavily. I reached for her hand. She let me, but she didn't hold back. There's a difference. That night, she slept in the guest room. Not out of anger, out of certainty. I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, telling myself we'd talk in the morning, that we'd figure it out, that we still had time. I didn't know then that time was the one thing she had already run out of. The next morning felt unreal. Not heavy, not dramatic, just ordinary. Claire was already awake when I stepped into the kitchen. Coffee brewing, window cracked open. She moved calmly, like someone who'd slept well. I hadn't slept at all. Good morning, she said. I answered automatically. It felt wrong to pretend this was a normal day, but she wasn't pretending. She'd already crossed something in her mind. We sat at the table, same chairs, same routine, different distance. I'm not leaving today, she said. I just want you to understand where I am. That gave me hope, dangerous hope. I promised things. Not dramatically, Carefully, I said I'd work less, listen more, be present. I meant every word, but I'd meant similar things before, quietly, to myself. She didn't interrupt. She didn't challenge me. She just nodded, and that scared me more than resistance ever could. You're sincere, she said. I know that. Pause. But sincerity isn't the same as change. I didn't have an answer for that. The days that followed were polite. We checked in, we talked, but every conversation felt late, like responding to a message after the moment had passed. She spent more time outside the house, long walks, phone calls she took in the other room, not hiding, just detaching. I tried to be present. I really did. I asked questions, paid attention, but presence born from fear feels different. She noticed. One evening, she sat beside me on the couch, not close, just near enough to speak softly. I don't want you to become someone else for me, she said. I just needed you to show up when it still mattered. When did it stop mattering? I asked. She looked at me carefully. It didn't stop, she said. I just stopped believing it would change. A week later, she asked for space. Not a break, not time apart. Space. The word carried intention. She moved into the guest room permanently. Boxes appeared slowly. Books first, then clothes. She packed like someone respecting a decision, not rushing away from pain. I watched, useless. Every instinct told me to act. Every part of me was still too late. One night I found her sitting on the floor, sorting old photos. Us laughing, traveling, believing. You kept these? I asked. Yes, she said. They remind me that I wasn't imagining things. We were real. That broke something in me. I don't regret us, she continued. I regret how long I ignored what I needed. The next morning, she was gone. Not dramatically. No final speech, just a note on the counter. I hope one day you give yourself the same attention you gave your ambitions. The house felt bigger without her, not emptier, just louder in its silence. Weeks passed. I changed things. I slowed down. I noticed myself again, but there was no one left to prove it to. That's when it hit me, the hardest truth. She didn't leave because I failed once. She left because I kept choosing later over now. Months later, I ran into her by chance, at a bookstore. She looked steady, grounded, like someone who'd made peace with a difficult choice. We talked briefly, kindly, no tension, no longing, just recognition. I'm glad you're doing well, she said. I believed her. As she walked away, I understood something clearly for the first time. Time isn't something you save, it's something you spend, and I'd spent too much of it assuming love would wait. I don't carry regret the way I used to. I carry awareness. Now, when someone sits across from me and asks how I'm doing, I don't answer quickly. I answer honestly. Because I learned this the hard way. You don't lose people suddenly. You lose them slowly. And by the time you notice, they've already learned how to live without you.